When you talk about airlines in India, people don't always say the nicest things, which is why we simply had to review and fly an airline which when you've flown them you may not want to travel with anybody else. Beautiful livery, organised boarding and comfortable seats. Come with us as we fly Vistara. Before we go any further, there's a few things to discuss. Vistara is owned by Tata, who also owns Air India, which is the legacy carrier that is currently undergoing a major overhaul. We flew their Boeing 777 in business class, and while we had a great time, the business class is very outdated. Vistara is also owned by Singapore Airlines. We all know who they are. Anyway, Tata has decided, sadly in my opinion, to merge Vistara into Air India, and not the other way around, which would make more sense in my opinion because Vistara currently has a better brand, product and overall presentation. Today's video we're travelling with Vistara, which is an interesting one because eventually it's going to merge with Air India, and there has been a lot of cancellations recently because of pilots going sick or being unavailable. Maybe there's a connection there. Anyway, we'll see. We're off to the airport. I was pretty excited as this is my first time in India, and we plan to fly as many airlines as possible. We tried Air Indigo, Air India and Vistara, but we did also plan to fly Akasa Air, but sadly their website, despite many attempts and even contacting their Twitter team, would only take payment from a local bank account. We had no choice but to give up. However, this opened up a wonderful possibility to fly Vistara twice, once in premium economy and once in economy. We'll discuss the difference between the two products later in the video. At Mumbai International Airport, Vistara called Terminal 2 home. You can't mistake it because it's basically brand new and features incredibly impressive architecture. And if you choose premium economy, you won't have to queue with all the economy passengers, as it has its very own dedicated check-in desk. With immigration out the way, Terminal 2 is an absolute delight. It features world-class design, greenery, and even a waterfall. It's not as big as Singapore's Changi, but it makes such a difference to the passenger experience. So in comparison to Chennai, this is such a different experience. For those who are curious to know what it was like travelling from Chennai's domestic terminal, you can walk from one end to the other in about 1 minute. It consists of 2 shops, and it does have a pretty nice third-party lounge with a basic but reasonable food selection. Unfortunately, the views should have been amazing for those who love to watch planes, but the condensation from the air temperature gave a very foggy view. To be honest, besides the airlines, I'd done very little research on the airports I would be flying from. I knew where they were and how to get to the hotels, but had no idea that the terminal would be this good. Yes, there is plenty to drive sales like the food court and the attractive shops. There are wide viewing windows to let in the light and give some views of this noteworthy but not forgotten Air India Boeing 747. And just over to my left paints the future of aviation in Air India, with their shiny new Airbus A320. Other than shopping and plane spotting, there's a small garden hidden behind the restaurants, which for a brief moment you could forget you're in the middle of a man-made structure. It did look a bit out of place, but there's even an Irish pub which seems to have sprung out the ground with this tree-like structure on the front, and hidden within this is a very cool black motorbike. If you're lucky enough to afford a Platinum American Express card, you could always venture into their lounge, which wasn't overly busy. Or on the cheaper side, there's a McDonald's next door. Or you could just sit in one of the many waiting areas, which was very pleasant. Either way, there's something for everyone to do, so there's no need to turn up last minute out of fear of boredom. While I make my way to the boarding area, it's time for today's journey map. After being rescheduled, today's journey to Hyderabad departs at 10:40, taking 1 hour and 20 minutes and covering a distance of 385 miles. So if you do find yourself at 45 A, B, C or D, that's in the basement, and the only way down appears to be a lift. Vistara's boarding process is really organised. Business class boards first alongside those who paid for priority boarding. Afterwards, it's premium economy, followed by the third group, which is everybody in economy. Which sounds great, except for the downside of gate 45A, B, C and D is this is a bus gate, so the whole priority thing becomes a tiny bit pointless, with business class, premium economy and some economy passengers now all on the same bus. On the plus side, for those who love planes, I see the bus transfer as a tour of the airport. Magical. Vistara's Airbus A320 Neo has 2 rows of business class, which is in a 2-2 configuration. Behind this, the premium economy has 4 rows. So these seats are pretty spacey, 33 inches of pitch and 18 inches of width, which is 4 more than economy. Despite this, the seats in economy were very comfortable, and I didn't find myself fighting for the armrest. I generally prefer sitting towards the front to get a good view of the engine, so here's the view from seat 9A. What a tease, because at the end of the trip we're flying Singapore's Airbus A350 in business class from Hyderabad to Singapore to try out their premium economy product to review on the A380. That's going to take a staggering 13 hours and 40 minutes all the way to London. I really hope I manage to sleep, or it's going to be a very, very long day. Back on Vistara's premium economy, and those 4 extra inches really make for a lot of leg room. And even better, the middle seat is blocked out, so you'll only ever sit next to one other passenger. A generously sized seatback pocket features the onboard magazine, which is somewhat of a rarity since COVID. There's plenty of articles featuring destinations you can travel to with Vistara, a route map of different destinations, and a few full-page ads from the Marriott Hotel Group, with this stunning looking hotel in Goa. I think I'll add this to the list for future trips. The seatback table is sturdy and has a slide function for those who find that important. Only in premium economy will you find these adjustable headrests, which in my view makes such a difference when you're trying to sleep. Safety demonstration out the way, and we're pushing back just 10 minutes late. That's after the last 8 passengers arrived on a bus. I was expecting some sort of food, but I wasn't expecting this cute little paper menu, which was a really nice touch and helps differentiate between economy behind me. This may not look like the most appetising meal in the world, but it certainly did fill me up. The vegetable frittata with tomato-based sauce and a chicken sausage was tasty. The croissant was good, but not amazing, and the fruit, while it looked like it was going off, when I cut my apple at home, it does quickly turn brown, so I can let this one slide. The fruit was, however, otherwise fresh and extremely high in flavour. And how could I say no to a chai masala tea, which comes in a paper cup with the airline's livery. Using today's flight as an example, food is complimentary in business class and premium economy, but it's a different story in economy. Once you've purchased your ticket, you can then add on options which include priority boarding, a meal and a check bag for a fee. Which is great because we're all forgetful and we need to add things sometimes. But the problem is that to get premium economy in the first place costs £10 more. So as well as boarding earlier, you get more leg room, no one next to you, and an enhanced meal. The meal in economy was delicious, but besides the slightly messy presentation, it was pretty much bread with curry sauce, with a delicious cookie and a masala lemon water. I did appreciate the meal because I was really hungry, but I wouldn't have picked it given the choice. Vistara is not a low-cost carrier, so besides the magazine featuring giraffes, like so many other modern airlines, they have Wi-Fi, on which you can stream free content. India is the home of Bollywood movies, and there were plenty, but there's also a very reasonable amount of Western titles. In fact, someone online mentioned that they have the 20th best in-flight entertainment in the world. Once it does load, there's even a handy and interactive route map. And as we're over halfway into the journey, all that's left to do is visit the bathroom. Given the amount of Airbus A320s I've been on, it's hard to think of new things to say, but it certainly is very grey. And that's probably because on this one it's very standard, not overly exciting design wise, so let's head back to the seat.
I can see it.
And if you're wondering, and particularly for our aviation followers, I didn't know that GoAir existed, and also didn't know they'd filed for bankruptcy, hence why there are so many airplanes parked up. I wonder what the future holds for them. If you know, we'd love to hear from you. Please drop us a message in the comment section below. So, having flown both products, I'm actually a tiny bit sad because Vistara was such a good airline. I mean, the food in economy was not quite as good. It was sort of like a bread with a curry sauce. Premium economy was really good, really enjoyed it. The difference being that the middle seat is knocked out, so obviously you get a bit more privacy. Otherwise, next to an airline, I love the fact they have different classes, so you can sort of choose. Premium economy is a nice little upgrade over economy for not a huge difference. And I think even on the day you can sometimes ask for an upgrade. Just like I say, a bit sad that they're merging with Air India, so at some point they won't exist. Having said that, Air India is going under a huge change currently, a lot of investment, so it'll be interesting to see what the future is. I'm quite excited to try them a few years down the line. Thank you so much for watching.